Hello, listeners and watchers, to a Roll to Suffer, our ongoing TTRPG show here that we do on Anti's channel. As always, I am.
This is not Roll to Suffer, by the way. This is the Blue Lamp. But
I mean,
detail.
it's Roll to Suffer, the Blue Lab, Campaign 1.
The Phantom Menace.
I
Chapter
mean,
1.
to live is to suffer, right? I am your dungeon mother, your host, your captain, your navigator, as Max likes to say, unbent, unbroken, sometimes unkind. My name's Siska, my pronouns are she, her, and I introduce to you my wonderful cast. I think I'm just going to start with the man closest to me. Florian and Tyr, why don't you introduce yourselves and maybe speak up a little?
Hello, I'm Francisca's brother. I'm also in the campaign. I played Tyr. Hello.
That's all you need to know. Um, Shoot, that reminds me. Why did you roll me a d6 in Roll20 while you're at it, Florian?
Jesus Christ.
Since I have you here.
Do it physically on the desk.
I can get,
May I just do it over here and I'll show you? Because I'm on a tablet thing. But anyways.
you know what? Me physically getting up. Today is a very cursed session, dear watchers and listeners.
Oh no.
On account of the
mine.
fact that I'm extremely tired. I barely got any work done the past 2 months because I was busy with moving apartments and having a very stressful job in the logistics field.
Alright.
A D6.
19.
D6, Florian.
Oh god damn it.
We're reaching numbers physically impossible.
5.
Alright, let me see. Your prompt for today tier is going to be let cooler heads prevail. Let cooler heads prevail, Florian.
Alright.
Right.
It's
And
cool.
here, moving right on to you, why don't you talk a little bit about yourself and Seti, and then give me the complimentary D6 roll.
Right, it's me, Antir. The currently hyperfixating on Kingdom Hearts 1 guy. Woo! And I'm playing Seti, he, him. The hyperfixating on keeping everybody alive guy. And I don't have
Fantastic.
anything more creative to say, so I'm rolling my d6. 6! Hey.
With a 6, Seti, let's see here. Do you mind embracing the darkness for me?
Very fitting.
All right. Moving right along to Corsa, if she can hear me.
Of course I can hear you. Why shouldn't I hear you? Do you mean because I'm so small or what? Wow. rude.
No, because specifically last session, it sounded like I skipped over you, but my mic simply didn't pick me up talking to you.
Okay, good. Yeah. I'm Coolster, she, her. I'm playing as Stacia.
Sure.
The S is so difficult today. I see. Stacy, also she, her. And hopefully today, Stacy is not confused with gender.
Wouldn't that be something? That's not in your prompt list, though. Either way,
We can add it.
we can add it. Do you mind
Oh,
rolling me a
no.
d6, Coolster?
Let's roll.
5. Cry because it happened.
Okay.
You get that? Make sense? No questions?
No questions at all. It's funny that I rolled
Single-
it today.
There's a single
Yep.
coffee table with the sharpest edges you've ever seen.
No.
And you're walking right into it. Maxi, talk about yourself and Omni a little bit.
Hello there, name's Maxi, pronouns are they, them. I am a creative person of sorts, and I have a Tamagotchi who is currently a baby, so I'm gonna have to be feeding it during the stream, but it's fine. Being a parent is very rough, I know. Today I'm playing as Omni, who is also a little guy GN. Their pronouns are any and all. They've been displaced from time and space, and they're having a rough time because their bestie keeps giving them the cold shoulder, but whatever, it's fine, they're over it.
For sure. Omni, why don't you give me a d6 roll?
You got it, boss. 5.
Omni, I think it's time to seek peace.
See, that's
All right, let me just
Shut up.
auto fail
Shut up.
this.
Shut up. Sorry, I told my brother to shut up because he's in throwing distance. I can throw stuff at him.
many words.
Yeah, your task for today is seek peace, and depending how well you do at the end of the session, you might get a little something. Algernon,
Trying to
last
seek
but
that
not
piece
least.
of work of an Algernon.
Hello, I'm
Hello.
Algernon, they, them. I play Xiomara, also they, them. And me and my character have so much in common, like being overworked and underappreciated by the institution we work for. Yeah.
Fantastic. Couldn't have put it any better myself. Samara, why don't you give me a good old d6 roll?
Of course. That is a 2.
Your task for today is going to be to girl boss.
Oh, yeah.
Finally, for those who might be confused about the numbers and the order and players not getting the same task again, even though they rolled the same number again, if they've already received the task within like the last 5 sessions, I will simply move down until I have something new. So that's how I do it. Right, so special rule for today: anytime anyone rolls a 1 or a 20, I'm going to eat a cookie because I deserve it.
Om nom nom.
Amazing
That's it.
rule.
That's all the reason I need. I was originally
You
gonna
won't
have it
believe it, but I
that
rolled a
Florian.
20 off screen. It's crazy.
Wow, crazy. Originally I had it in such a way that anytime somebody rolled a 1 or a 20, Florian would have to get up and bring me a cookie personally, but
I can just if you have camera on, I can just reach it over to you.
Just
that's-
throws cookie into her mouth.
that's fine.
So I do want to say, as hilarious as this is, and it is.
Oh, see,
I-
there's a
ju-
1 rolled.
Oh, no.
It's the nice casual misophonia warning for anyone out there who is affected by that. I will be making I'm making it my personal mission to make the DM eat as many cookies as possible today. So a little warning for anyone
Goddamn.
out there who has misophonia. Anyways, this is what happens when you give me the power, Cisco.
Oh, a 1. Look at that.
Nom 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 nom.
Cisco was concerned about this being a shorter session, but if we keep interrupting them with 1s and 20s, I feel like we can stretch this out.
Exactly.
Right.
This might be a two-parter, really. At this point.
Now, if anyone has been paying attention last session, you might remember that the party finally arrived by airship in the cursed town of Waro. Interacted with the locals and the fiends that stalk the area, namely Blightwood, Sweetsong, and the mysterious Cuckoo, who was immediately murdered by one of their brothers. It came to a head when the bee summoning Sweetsong was backstabbed by Blightwood in the roadhouse that the party is now staying at. Well, they got to reconnect with each other and also Stacy's old master, Ashling. Came to a head. Sweetsong got taken out of the story, Cuckoo got stabbed to death, and Blightwood took a bow before taking his leave. The party is now left in the tavern. Still in disarray, the people are kind of getting up from the stupor. Somebody went to grab one of the medics from the town, while Ashling is kind of frustrated, kind of exasperatedly trying to take care of the dead bird man lying on the ground. Party, you are now coming back to your senses, Omni. Though you got pretty blackout drunk 5 minutes ago, the events that transpired in the past couple of seconds really sobered you up, and you are now back to full awareness. That being said, Party, you're now in a tavern, slowly getting back to its normal state. There's a dead Aarakocra lying in the middle of it. And slowly the noise is dying down. What would you like to do?
Stacy would like to go to the bird, and she will lift one of their wings and then let it fall, and is like, "Yes, it's dead."
Perfect. Why don't you give me a medicine check? Once again, to remind people, this is what the birds look like. Give me a medicine check.
Yep. Oof.
With a 10. Not much of a pulse. You're not sure it even had a pulse. You had the impression that this creature and creatures like it that live in this forest are actually undead. Only this person was recently rendered living again, only to be immediately murdered. There's a couple of interesting things about his physiology. You might know that birdfolk in this part of the world are usually born with more humanoid features, but bird legs and an additional pair of limbs in the form of wings growing from their back. Examining this Aarakocra, you notice that he has a luscious cloak made of enormous raven's feathers. But there's nothing left of their wings except stumps. It seems to be a mutilation from their early childhood. Almost a pity, but now they're dead. You lift up their mask a little bit and see a very plain, almost childlike face. You reckon before this person became undead, they must have hit their early to mid 20s maybe. Very lithe muscles. You can tell they used to be a rogue of some sort before their unlife was cut short. Not entirely sure how much sympathy Stacy can muster for somebody like this, but there you are. Aisling is gently waving away her arms while she does some more examination, and she actually pulls out a little satchel. Do you let her proceed, or do you ask her what's going on, or?
Wow, sorry, I had a frog in the throat. Yes, I let her proceed, and Daisy now gets the look of a student, or like a Schüler, pupil, and yeah, like she's back in her a really young age when she was the disciple of Aisling, and yeah, she's watching with awe and amazement, and yeah, she tries to take note of every little thing Aisling is doing.
So, you see a smile come to her lips as she notices you get into your old position. You're kind of sitting back on your haunches, as she starts sprinkling what you remember to be unicorn ivory over this corpse. She quietly chants something among the clamor of the tavern, and it's almost like all noise is sucked from the world for the fraction of a second, before it returns, and indeed, the Aarakocra returns with a loud as Aisling casts True Resurrection on him. Rest of the party, what would you like to do while this goes on in the middle of the tavern, behind the counter?
I think that I'm still a little bit shaken from the alcohol and the combat. I think I'm gonna follow the I'm gonna let I'm going to let our illustrious leader and main character, played by Antir, actually lead me.
Seti, I presume you feel somebody tug at your sleeves. You look down at Insomni.
Oh, hi.
Sorry.
I'm gonna start looking for tracks to see if I can find any clue of where the person who did this went.
You look for hoof tracks as you recognize the person who tricked you to be a satyr of young to middle age. You couldn't make out quite a lot more details on account of him wearing a mask. He didn't leave a lot of tracks. He had that kind of ethereal quality about him. But if you want to give me a perception check, You have the idea that your sniffers might know a little bit more than you will.
Nice. 14.
With a 14, you manage to sniff the acrid scent of an undead kind of fairy creature, casually walking his way into the tavern, waiting for several hours for his plan to unfold, unnoticed by anyone, before just strutting back out, unseen, unstopped by anyone. You go to the door of the roadhouse and watch as the you smell as the track of scent moves past the fences of the town into the woods and dissipate into a thin mist. It's not much of a track, but it's a track. You want to answer Max's question, Seti? Do you smell with your nose?
Please, you don't have to acknowledge my nonsense. You're
No,
welcome
no,
to
no.
acknowledge
I like, I
Too
like
late.
the,
Too
I
late.
like the idea that I have a nose, but I don't use it to smell it with. It's just aesthetics. I actually do smell with my tongue.
I mean, like, snakes do have, nose-like orifices, but they smell using their tongue. That's the little, like, tongue whipping motion they do if they're smelling.
This would be like one of the first times when you see sitting in the doorway. Smells like undead in here.
You notice yet another tug at your other sleeve. Look down and it's this small Harangon child you noticed earlier, Nubla. Smell anything good, Snake Man?
Not good. I smell undead. I'm guessing they evaporated, and I have no idea to where.
She starts mumbling something to herself and goes back inside. Algernon, Samara, what has the wizard been doing this entire time? You watch this whole drama unfold, unable to really intercept Blightwood or his companions. You just kind of watched him disappear, not entirely sure where he went, so he seems to have the best idea in that. What's kind
Yeah.
of going through your head right now?
First, I don't know whoever that was that guy just stabbed. I've never seen this person who makes bee puns before. I think I'm still sitting at the table where like a little bit further away from where Ashling and Stacy sat before. Still wine glass in hand. Just thinking to myself, that is the guy that stopped us in the forest. Highly suspicious. And I want to talk to the barkeeper actually.
Want to talk to the barkeeper first of all? Why didn't you give me an intelligence check?
God. Where am I? There's my intelligence. That's a 13.
13. The cogs in your enormous mind start turning as you come to realize a couple things. Were you just the witness to dark, evil forest politics? Is that what this was? A power grab? Nothing more? All the theatrics, all the horror, all the mind-reading, bullshitting, invisible making, bee summoning? For a little bit of leverage? Perhaps. The magical forest has become a little bit become a little bit less magical for you now, Samara. With a sigh, I presume you approach Nubus, who's coming to his senses. Evidently, he seems to have been knocked out. Hey there. I can't help you.
Turbulent day, I presume, if something like this happens.
Well, we've had bar fights, we've had knife fights. I usually ask the boys to take it outside, and usually they do, but I'm not entirely sure there's any arguing with these people. He points down at the bird folk slowly coming to his senses, surrounded by Ashling and Stacy. No, my quarter turbulent day, yeah.
I apologize for my rude questions. I'm not from around here, as you might have gathered.
Absolutely,
Um,
no worries, sir. We love
Who
taking guests
are?
here. You know, my wife's actually from outside.
Oh,
Sorry, don't mind.
you know, if I ever get to meet her, she's probably a very lovely lady. But do you know who these people were? Because high theatrics for something that might be so pointless.
Oh, well, that's the point of a circus, isn't it? Making big theatrics about what amounts to not very much at all. Oh, that was the Black Circus, my lord. Black Circus is, well, it's a circus. I'm sorry, it's been a turbulent day. Oh, my mind isn't entirely what it's supposed to be. Well, let me give you the gist of it. It tells you that the Black Circus basically is a collection of like undead fairy type creatures that stalk these woods. Usually, when they appear, they have some kind of performance that they do. Some of them are jugglers, some of them are musicians, some of them are oracles. It usually ends with a lot of violence. That's usually how their encounters end. They they are kind of a nuisance to the locals, and they're outright dangerous to any outsiders that come to the forest. You know that they've been around, like at least in legend for forever. Like you remember, one of your nannies telling you telling you dark fairy tales about them, and even back then, baby Samara thought those tales were extremely boring. You seem to remember telling your nanny, "Then why don't they just pick up the torches and chase him out of the woods? It doesn't make any sense." And your nanny had
This
to
seems
say,
not logical.
"It's simply not logical, Ma." Well, you see, child, it does have to make sense for it to be a good story sometimes. You chuckle to yourself as you think about that. Anything else you would like to talk about with Nubis?
And have there ever been have fuck, I forgot what I wanted to say.
Have there ever
um
been?
yes.
Take your time. Otherwise, I can just change to a different character for a while while you think about it.
No, I have it. It's right on my tongue. But my brain is so stupid today.
We all feel you.
When the brain is milchreis.
Yeah. I haven't been in this body for long. This is a new environment. Of course. And have there ever been instances where they simply attack themselves, not others?
Oh, from what I've heard, there was this one time around midnight. I think it was Walpurgis night. Made a big show, just simply stormed into the market, and they started stabbing the shit out of each other. I have no idea. Corpses everywhere, but they only attacked each other. And then they proclaimed something like, "And he who won shall be the next Night King." Something like that. It was terrifying. Damn, they shut my pants, I did.
Oh, I can believe you.
It tells you of a couple more instances where it appears like the Black Circus actually does have some internal structure that is mainly based on the right of strength. He who can stab the most motherfuckers shall be the baddest motherfucker, and such and such.
Well, that's rather primitive, but okay.
Oh,
Thank you.
those that live in the woods, you know. Tyr,
That's also rather stereotypical of you, my good sir. I wouldn't.
well,
go
I live
that
in the woods. I
far.
should know, shouldn't I? Before you two start arguing over there.
Still, you
Tyr,
see, there can be people living in the woods and still not. But
Jesus Christ. Nobody says that out loud. It's just I have decided before I heard that to
Tyr wakes up, hears you talking shit to Nubis, and says, "Oh, good fought, father."
I'm legging it out of there. I'm just going after Antir and Omni. I smell a fight coming, and I'm not gonna let him go alone.
Instead of feeling someone tug at your sleeve, you feel somebody put his enormous pauldron hand on your shoulder, Seti. You look up, and it's Lieutenant Northgate. Ex-Lieutenant Northgate.
Oh yeah, right. I was sign. I forget.
This big, beautiful purple orc looking down at you, mumbling something about a fight brewing.
There's a good fight, bro.
Sir, do not worry. I will bring you when the time comes.
What do you mean? Is there no fight brewing? Alright.
Well, there is, but I guess first we need to help the wounded like Stacy's doing.
Oh, of course. I turn around and I just lean down to Birdman and I just examine him a little bit.
Yeah, definitely give me a perception or investigation check.
I'll do it so you can see it.
And just tell me what you get. That's fine.
Okay. Perception or investigation?
Perception or investigation. For the people at home, Florian is sitting right next to me right now. He came to visit me to help me with my move, and he's on his tablet right now. He can't really have several tabs open or several screens to look at.
Yeah. I got a 15.
15 investigation or perception, you notice that there are about 6 stab wounds across the torso of this birdman. You can see his jerkin, beautifully made, though extremely worn out, made from like luscious black silk, torn in several places, ruined beyond where, unless somebody casts mending on it, I fucking guess. Wide-eyed, he looks at you with, what did I write down? With greenish grey eyes. You can see the last of black ichor dropping down out of his eyes, as some kind of curse seems to be expelled from his body, similar to, you know, how your body might expel bad blood or pus. He looks at you wide-eyed. It says, bastard. He puts a hand to his head and starts slowly breathing as you can see Ashling, the druidess, start putting a hand on his back and encouraging him to start breathing slowly.
Interesting.
Do you start interrogating him? You know what policemen do, or
I think I'm gonna drop that this time. I just want to know, do you know who actually attacked you?
well, I mean, I've never seen his face. I just know that his name is Blightwood. We've been in the circus for I don't remember. Deep horror sets into his face. I don't remember anything. Where am I?
You're in
Waggle.
Wano.
What?
What? Like the town?
Yeah, you're in the roadhouse with us. We just found you here.
What's happened to me?
It appears you were stabbed, what, 6 times?
Looks down at their chest. Oh God, I what? Goodness, I was. Ah, I seem to remember a name. Blightwood. The man you're looking for is named Blightwood.
Right.
Ashling gives you serious looks and says, I think they may be confused. Coming back from the dead, being released from undeath, has some terrible consequences on your mind. I think we just need to secure them, maybe put them in the dungeons or something. For the time being, we're not gonna get a lot out of them. At the word
Whatever you
dungeons,
say.
you can see that they actually, you know, set up a little straighter and start looking suspiciously around.
Sure, I get whatever you say. I guess that's probably the best.
Right. I called for the weirdest's daughter to help me carry him to the dungeon. Would you be of assistance to me, guardsman?
Of course.
The two of you, I assume, go off. Stacey, you're free to follow your master, but Tia and Ashling, this like very kind of waifish but strong woman who's well over a head taller than Tia on account of being a half giant. The two of you carry the still recovering body of the bird folk over to a small outhouse on the periphery of this community center. It's kind of put him in a room. He doesn't seem like he wants to run away, but Ashling Druid crafts a little shackle made out of vines and puts it around his foot so he doesn't run away. Right, while you're doing that, you can see now that the rest of the party can see now that the tavern seems to return to normal completely now. It's like nothing ever happened. Um, Tavern goers start conversing as usual. People arm wrestle at one table. People do drinking matches at one table. You can see Nubus is in complete working mode. He's just stomping around, getting orders, delivering drinks, arguing with Shamara when he has a break about the values of nurture versus nature. You can see now that everything kind of calms down. Eventually, Aisling and Tyr come back to you, Stacy, and they kind of gather the rest of the party up in one corner of the tavern, and she says, "All right, I think it's time the lot of us have a little talk, right? How about we meet up at our room?" You can see at this point that Lefave pitches up and says, "I already paid for your room, folks. No need to thank me. Call it a little favor." As you move up into the into the first story of the tavern and move to the room that Lefave provided for you. Unless anyone still wants to do anything before we move on with the story.
I'd like to do something before, and the necklace which Nubis tried to give Tyr, is it still like on the ground, or does Tyr have it, or?
Let me just say you managed to snatch what was left of it, which was like the tippy tip of it. The tippy tip seems to be like, it used to be like a little small silver ornament that resembled like a feather. Only the very tip of it is left, and it's like broken off, kind of melted in places. You pocket it, and you move along.
Yeah, good.
As as Aisling and Lefave kind of gather all of you into this pretty spacious room around like an eating table. Some of them, Lefave sitting on the bed, Aisling sitting on like a dresser. The rest of you try to find sitting places as you wish. The room kind of goes quiet as you are still processing the shock of what happened today, the tiredness of getting here. Stacy, you feel like this may be your moment.
Ooh. Buckle up, players. I need to roll up my sleeves for that. So just a little bit of warning for you. This will be like, I don't know, probably some 10 minutes or so of speaking just from me.
Yep.
At first, interjections won't be an issue. I think I can handle it, but there will be a part where you definitely know that it's good to don't have any interruptions.
In that case, this is a very important character moment for Stacy, where the room turns quiet and you all kind of find yourself looking at Stacy because she seems like there's something she really wants to tell all of you. And now might be the best time of them all.
Yeah. Stacy eyes a little bit questioning Lefave, but she kind of shrugs it off because, she just has to get it off of her chest. So
I mean, Lefave will look at you questioningly and kind of point with her thumb back at the door and like, do you want me to go, or this is like one of those you guys things? I can come back in like 5 minutes.
Nah, Stacy decides to. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter because, it's just a moment. So, and Lefave did so much already to them, it would kind of feel off to say, yeah, go, and then we kind of get you back in. Yeah, she kind of tries to woman up in this moment, and
Love
So,
womaning up in this house.
yeah. Good. So Stacy tries to find a position where she can stand so everyone or she can see everyone. And
You stand on top of one of the drawers.
and I'm still like 2 meters shorter than Tyr.
Tyr has since sat down on the ground, I think.
Yeah, the floor was my spot.
Crisscross
Alright.
applesauce looking up at you with big orc eyes, as everyone is listening to you now, Stacy.
Good, good. So while we were flying here, you know, Flora, she's kind of away now. Well, she approached me when I was in my room, and she made a decision, and she also had a request for me. So yeah, I will tell you in short what she said, and yeah, she will now try to look for her special person on her own. So I doubt that we will see her again anytime soon. I'm pretty sure she took the deal with Finger Eater. She did not say it plainly, probably because she can't, but there were the signs. And yeah, we'll see what kind of consequences this will have. And her parting words, or the promise she asked me to make, was that I should remember her the way she was. And this request made me think about my journey as well. So, as you all know now, in this chapter of my life, I am a dragon. We can't change this. It's the way it is. Nashtu has told me so. Since she was the Archdruid of the Winter Circle and decided I should succeed her. She's given me her powers, and you see that it's already swooping into my daily life. But not only the powers, but also the burden of her memories. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm hella afraid of that. As you noticed, I haven't adapted too much into those draconic powers lately. I've been thinking about what exactly scares me. Right now, I'm really afraid of losing myself, losing what makes me me. Nashtu said that our memories and personalities will intertwine and there won't be a clear line between them. However, I've already lost or can't remember years of my own life. I've already told Setsi as much. But whatever else I might lose, I hope I can count on all of you to help me keep me on the right path. Like when I'm around Humara and see how they stand up for themselves and work what they want from life, I'm sure they will always remind me to trust in myself and that there's nothing wrong with swaying someone with words. I don't have to be upfront with everything until I know that I'm in a safe space with safe people to open up to. Seti will always remind me that there are plenty of ways to handle a situation, and not every way has to be forceful. I hope that Tyr will give me something like a routine which I can work through to handle my personal struggles. Even when emotions run high, routine will provide a structure to lean on. And Omni will hopefully help me in the future to handle Ian-long memories. Speaking of memories, you see now how Stacy put up a book out of her backpack and slams it on the table. I need to drink a little sippy sip. So, as you can see, I tried to preserve as much as I could. I'm almost ready to open this new chapter, but only almost. It's time for me to open up about my past and resolve some mysteries. I believe I will keep being afraid to lose myself until I do. I will keep being afraid of becoming Nacy or Stashtu, which seems to me both like terrible choices and, well, shitty names. I don't want to be stuck between a bad choice and a worst choice. So here we go. I ask you to please not interrupt me now, else I might lose my courage. You see now how Stacy takes a deep breath and she readies herself for her past to be revealed. I'm not just Stacy, the young half-elven hermit druid from the woods. I'm also Anastasia Ondulung Kanandu, daughter of a duke. Or I was. You see, since I'm half-elf, even though it's difficult to tell at first sight, you see how she points at her own ears. I'm quite small and, well, I have to sleep. The sleeping thing was also what kind of blew the cover and revealed that my mother Raquel had me with someone who was not my noble father, the Duke Elk. I think Elk, it's pronounced like that, right? Elcom, okay, good. My bio dad was a manservant with the name of Felice. You now see how Stacy pulls out something else from her backpack. It's a small carving of black jewwood with the initials of her bio dad carved into it. It's F and Q. This is the only thing I have left from that time. As far as I can remember, I have 3 siblings, although I already can't remember what they look like. 2 of them are older than me, and 1 is younger. I guess I know I'm older or something like that. It was a nice family life until my need to sleep ruined it. Alex was very keen on my education. He spent much time with me and my older sister, teaching us literature and history. I think sometimes it was difficult for my mother. She was the 3rd daughter in her family, and not what you'd call beautiful by Elven standards. It was quite a surprise that Duke Ondolun was interested in her at all, but they ended up together. The last thing I remember from that home is that after I woke up from sleep, Alex carried me to the ferrywood and left me alone there. I must have been 8 years old at that time. After that, I don't remember anything for a while. Until one day, I found an injured little hamster. Pelligro comes out of the backpack. At the foot of the tree house I lived in. Lord Cheeks and I lived there for 3 more years, until he bravely sacrificed himself for me when a snake attacked us. Stacy looks a little bit ashamed towards Susetti. This was the very moment Ash found me crying in the woods. I was brought into the circle and became a druid, but in my 8th year of being with them, I kinda got restless. I had a feeling that I should leave before they had a chance to abandon me again, or something along this way. It's hard to put it into words. I'm sorry that I left so willy-nilly without any kind of explanation. Stacy looks a little bit sad and tries to hold it together. Her voice is really shaking in this moment. And yeah, I never really cut ties completely, but I never really spoke of that day again because I simply don't know how. I did some work for the circle here and there. That's actually what led me to meeting all of you. I was tasked to seek out the Winter Circle, but the Order got me first. After I helped the Winter Circle, I was rewarded with being turned into a dragon, which brings us to this point.
At that point, as you finish speaking up, your kind of rambling speech, trying to come to a point, trying to explain to your party just what you've been through and how important they've become to you. The rest of the party watches as this little half-elf disappears into the giant robes of Aisling as she pulls you into a tight hug. And it's the first time you feel like it was genuine on her side. Like, you know now that she actually means it. You know now that she finally understands you in a way that she didn't before, because finally you opened up. And something tells you that she understands you a lot more than you might have thought. The rest of the party watches on as you're free to draw your own conclusions as to what Stacy told you. You can see now that Lafave kind of ponders this for a moment and looks between all of you, kind of waiting for a reaction. Yeah, party. Stacy just revealed her backstory to you. You are free to react as you wish. I'm going to take a back seat again.
This whole while, Omni was, they were sitting on the edge of the nearby bed. Their legs dangling underneath them. They look at Stacy as though for the first time again, and inside them, they don't externalize this part because it shows their hypocrisy in a way, of how they keep looking at the people of the mortal realm in this kind of petty way. You know, the little people who live in this small world, building their little buildings and living their short little lives. And Omni realizes how wrong it is to keep looking at their party members like that. Stacy's a complete person, even though their life is a fraction. They have led a full life, and Omni recognizes the fear of gaining so many years and realizing that you might be losing who you were in the past. And with this thought on the tip of their tongue, Omni says to Stacy, I know I may not be the latest to join our group, looking over at Tyr, but I do promise you I will be as useful as I can. I know what it's like to feel the past slipping beyond your fingertips as though sand, a broken sand clock. You're afraid that one day you'll look at your hands and you'll have nothing, and you'll be just lost in between the present and the past. But nothing can take away your future. Who you
Omni,
are
you
now,
get grabbed by a giant hand and pulled into the hug also.
Mwah.
Whoop. Samara, what's going through your head right now?
First, like, at the very, very, very beginning of the, like, reading of the inner feelings and stuff, I was like, in my head, for like a small second, I was like, yes, another person who's also the child of a, like, Duke and family and stuff like this. Like, yay, Duke Club.
And turns
then it
out
was, like,
her
really,
father
really
was even
sad.
more of a bastard than yours. How does
Yeah,
that
then-
make you feel?
And then it got like so sad, and then I was just like, oh no, I can't pull the Duke joke now because it's like very emotional. So and like everything I want to say, I would like to say personally to Stacy later on. So I'm just like leaning against the wall, like trying to look very understanding, but emotions are hard for me, as we all know. Yeah.
Yep. Steady. I'm assuming you're already in the hug.
Seti does not impose in any part on it, but does put his hand on Stacy's shoulder in support. And the thing what he says is, I've told you already in the past, and I will tell you now. You are, for me, the wise one, the one who guides. So, thank you for opening up. And don't be worried, whatever you want to do, whatever you need to do, I will be there right behind you.
That's right, Steady. You also get pulled into the hug. Which brings us to Tyr. Northgate, you were watching this whole interaction, watching these people come closer together, watching one of them open up over something terrible that's happened to them and something even more terrible happening to them right now. How does that make you feel as somebody who's going through a lot of change right now himself?
I recognize it as the same kind of struggle. Obviously different, but in many ways I've been going through something similar, if not as existential perhaps, but I kind of just look on as I feel like there's so many people in that hug already. But I think of some words that I would say, but I'll save them for a later date.
Which brings us to Lefebvre, who looks on to the hug pile and says, "You know, last time I did this, I really came to regret it, but..." Pulls out her sword and cuts open her palm as she lets out a little blood on the ground. You can watch as the blood immediately boils and sizzles into black smoke. As she whispers a quiet oath. "When the time comes, I'll be there to protect you, little dragon. I think I owe you that much, at least." And she smiles, gets back up, and kind of shakes off her hand, trying to get the last droplets of smoking blood from her hand. As the whole interaction comes to an end, is there anything anyone else would like to do? Besides trying to escape from the hug, which is now impossible.
Yeah, with
We don't
every
escape from
person,
hugs.
with every person joining the hug, you see one little tear getting into Stacy's eye, and we are not yet all the people in the hug, right?
No.
Okay, good then. But the dam is nearly broken. Nearly.
Okay, I run over. God damn
Get fucking tackled by a
Okay,
a
good.
6-foot tall orc.
Yeah, and
We
that's
all
what
fall
broke
off
the
of the second
dam,
floor.
and all the floodgates are open, all the tears and all the emotions come free, and Stacy just
Watch as this
accepts
tiny.
it.
You watch as this tiny half elf starts ugly sobbing and crying, and watch as Aisling, kind of motherly figure, tries to shush her, but just keeps going. And at the end of the day, you notice that this was a happy moment. At the end of all this chaos of the past week, you came together for something, even if it's so absurd and crazy. You're all here and you're all together and you're not letting go. Though perhaps you should. Stacy, you notice a little bit of cracking in your spine. Noticing
I'm
that,
getting
Aisling
old.
immediately lets you go. Right. I think I'm gonna call for the first break of the day, and after that, well, Stacy, you can take a point of inspiration either way, but let's just meet up again in 5 minutes and see what we're gonna do with the rest of the session. Welcome back to the game. We just had a nice little character moment where Stacy revealed her backstory, and the party was very accepting and supportive. Of course, Tyr and Xiomara are still thinking of something to say once they have a private moment with Stacy. For the time being, you watch as you're shushed off the bed, or scooted off the bed, those of you who are sitting on it, as Aisling pulls out a map and unrolls it on top of it. You can see now it's an approximate map of what the Blue Forest presumably looks like. You can see close to the mountains there's a river called the Rio Prado, the Silver River, running down, meeting with a couple of other rivers down in the valley. Everything is forested, and close to where the Silver River leaves the Red Ridge, Wago is built. You can see that there's a couple of X's marked on the map by Aisling. She goes to explain that there's a couple of locations of interest that might be important for you to check out, if indeed you wanna both find the blue lamp and deal with whatever kind of threat is going to befall this town. She shows you a couple of locations where people know that the Order of the Crooked Man has been sighted. She also shows you a couple of locations where the Black Circus has been sighted lately, which is outside of their usual hangouts. Turns out no one really knows what the headquarters of the Black Circus are, or even if they have any. Same with the Order of the Crooked Man. At which point, Lefebvre chimes in and explains that before the planar vortex happened in Maracas, the Order was actually planning to overtake the city and then eventually, way down the line, start occupying the Blue Forest, convert all its citizens, and drive out all the creatures in there. For whatever reason, she doesn't know, even though she was already in the high echelons of the Inquisition. It seems now, with the Order being expelled from the city, they've just immediately skipped to step 3 and started occupying the forest. She points at one of the locations where the OCM has been spotted and says that she'll be going there first if anyone wants to accompany her. Besides that, there are 5 locations the 5 of you can pick from. I haven't drawn a map for that yet, but don't worry about it. You can see there's an old fort, besides the abandoned fort that you've been in. There's an abandoned temple, an old settlement, an old shrine, and a giant pit in the ground, colloquially referred to as the mouth of the world. And I believe that leaves one more location, that being a cave at the mouth of the Red Bridge. As you think about that, we can think about it more in the coming sessions. Is there anything your characters would like to ask before you head out for the night, or head to your own respective rooms?
I have a
Yeah,
question.
go first.
Because
Yes, Sally.
Lafavre says that they skip to step 3 immediately. Do you
Yeah, what
know?
about it?
The Crooked Man. Is he still at
Yes.
large?
Well, not at large. We're kind of underground now. But I guess we are at large. In the raw sense of it.
So
There's
there's
a lot less of us. Many of us have been arrested since. Put in the dungeons. I'm sure the Inquisitioners plans on getting them back out.
so they're
Yeah, we're still around.
regrouping here, probably.
Regrouping here. Who knows what's in this forest? Maybe some kind of old relic that the Lady Inquisitor is looking after. She shudders a little bit at that. Doesn't seem to want to imagine whatever kind of powerful relic that might be.
You have
like to
no
think
idea
about
what
it.
they could be looking for.
I would have to do a little bit of research, but catching one of them, interrogating them might be a good start. So that's what I'm going to do.
I was thinking that maybe, let's say I'm a bit tired of running around behind on the Crooked Man. If they are trying to reorganize here, I would like to strike them while they're disarrayed. Make sure that
We
they
don't know
can't
just how
harm
disarray
people
them.
here.
She looks at you purposefully and says, "Very well. I'll head out tomorrow at dawn. I'll be waiting for you at the outside of the roadhouse."
Sounds good.
Stacy, I think you had something?
Yes. Stacy turns to Ash and she asks, have you seen Makila around when you were around the abandoned fort? Marty suggested that she might be in this corner.
Maquela, That's a tough one, child. I know that she's missing. I haven't really gotten to talk to Marty yet. I have no idea. I haven't seen her at all. I'm pretty sure the Black Circus has something to do with it, but I can't be too sure. For the first time, you see that Ashley looks stumped. Genuinely. All right. Does the party have any other thoughts they would like to get out before we head to bed?
Did we
Sounds-
eat?
You hear now a loud, what do you call it? A stomach roaring, coming from Tyr's direction, though Tyr will immediately point at Lafave who says sorry. As you have food delivered up to the room. You finally meet Nubus's wife, which is like kind of a short, portly Harangon woman with like deep red hair. She smiles happily at all of you. You can see she's recovering from some kind of illness, but she came up all those stairs by herself, carrying several trays of food. So maybe she's doing fine, actually. Um, you have your dinner. It's delicious. It's very lovingly made, and it puts you in a very sleepy mood. You realize now that you've been on your feet all day. One of you should probably report back to the airship eventually, but you know that probably has time to. So, that being said, thank you for reminding me. Great. You all return to like you can see there's 2 rooms for you. There's one room for Lefave, and Ashling sleeps out in the fort. Unless, of course, somebody requests otherwise. How you sleep is all up to you. Everyone can have their own bed. That being said, there's really nothing. I think we should carry on to the next part of the session. Great.
Yes. Sleep.
Oh, no.
Stacy and I are small, so we.
You share a bed? Is that what you're gonna say?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I feel like, you know.
Yeah, that's
to me,
right.
that just makes sense.
Stacy,
you know.
Stacy takes up 70% of the bed.
Yeah.
lies on her back like a starfish and snores loudly. Omni,
Yeah.
Omni curled up like a croissant.
Yeah, I'm a little croissant.
I think like Seti wants to lay on the floor, and then there's suddenly someone's like, "There's a bed, you know." It's like, oh right.
Tyr reminds you, say there's a bed, you know, right before falling asleep in his chair.
So I was gonna say, I was gonna say, get out of the way. I was gonna sleep on the floor.
I have the mental image of Tyr is so big that he needs like like a couple chairs on the end of the bed so that his legs are not hanging off.
Yeah, that's why I'm on the floor. All of these beds are so small.
You know, you can request a bigger one, says Lefave, coming out of her own room.
Already the
No, this is
snoring has
just
started.
Like in Boot Camp. This is great.
Lefave looks over at you, Samara, and says, you know, if you want to be alone, I can give you my room.
Oh my god, really?
Damn.
Yes.
Oh, that if you don't want to be alone.
I don't know. I keep picturing Xiomara with like a little like just like like black but like very like fancy like PJs. A little a little nightcap, a little frilly black frilly like nightcap.
No, there is
As you move into
like
Lefave's
3
room,
pillows.
you can see that it's
Gesundheit.
Gesundheit.
Yeah.
you can see that it's very spartanly organized, but it seems comfortable enough, especially for you, for your standards. You can see Ashling is still there, and she seems to be brewing something with like an herbalist's kit. And she hands a little potion and says, "This should help with anxiety, in case you have trouble falling asleep, alright?"
Amazing. Thank you. That's very thoughtful.
She smiles broadly and says, "Absolutely nothing to worry about, Sugar Cube." As she leaves the scene, Lefave is just going to sleep on one of the beds in the other room. Well, wait, how does this work? We have 3 rooms now. One is just Yomara. One has one bed that has both Stacy and Omni sleeping on it. The other bed has Seti kind of Seti is one of those people who sleeps in a really weird position. You're like, there's no way that's comfortable. He's like one of those cats, like bent all out of shape. And then you have Tyr, who's like just kind of gotten a bedroll and is lying down on the ground. And then once again, Lefave finds herself with a whole room to herself, and she's like, all right. With that, we skip to around 20 past midnight. We get to a very special part of the session, one that I've prepared for a very, very long time.
Oh.
And we're actually going to start with you, Maxi!
You survive!
Maxi! No,
Imagine.
Kitty is not here, unfortunately for us. Shout outs to Kitty. I just finally opened your Christmas card today. Very lovely.
Aw, hell yeah.
And Maxi, Omni. Omni is the second name you ever carried. Your original name, the one that was given to you at birth, is Oneros, Dream. You are a child of the moon goddess, and your domain is that of hopes, dreams, and aspirations. So when you go to sleep, really, it is your domain. It's like there's no real difference for you between the waking and the sleeping world. But that was before you went into hibernation. Why don't you give me a charisma saving throw?
You got it, boss. Okay, alright. Come on, a 20. Come on, a 20.
Or a 1.
We want the 20.
19.
Oh.
Wah, wah.
Oh.
Well, let me just refer to my notes.
I mean, there's a 1 in 12, so.
That's right, fellas. I have a +7 charisma saving throw bonus.
Damn.
Amazing. That's really
That's right.
good.
You think
But
I
we-
should be like the suave, like roguish type, like flirting on everyone, but I'm just small.
In
Just
this very
a small,
moment,
chill guy.
5 of
this
the 7.
night,
Sorry.
this night, Omni, what is it that Omni aspires to? What do you think? What are they dreaming about? What are they reaching towards as they enter the dream realm?
The very first thing that comes to mind, when Omni was little with their sibling, they would look through the gazing pool, a magical artifact that would allow them to see into the mortal realm. We weren't supposed to, but we did. And it was through this looking pool where I would look down at the mortal realm and I would see the little people. So far away, so small, first living in caves and then making settlements out of clay and dirt and thatched roofs and little by little building fire. And we would watch them for what felt like years, but it couldn't be. We were little, we had time to play. And in the dream, I find myself doing what I did when I was very little. I would reach into the pool, and of course, my sibling, thank you for showing them, my sibling would stop me because disturbing the pool would cause the projection to end. But in the dream, I reach, and as my fingers are about to touch, I realize that the little people I'm reaching for are not little, they're bigger than me. And their buildings are around me, and the trees are
Gonna
around
cut
me.
in right there. The little hands become bigger and bigger when you realize that you have since touched the surface of the scrying pool, which grows a hand and pulls you in. You're pulled deep, deep underwater. It appears like all the air leaves your lungs, but yet you're still breathing. When you come to, you have entered what appears to be some kind of temple to the moon goddess Helen, only the statues of saints and holy maidens and sea creatures have been replaced with bizarre tentacled beasts, winged devils, and other strange creatures, and there's a strange foul mist in the water. You can see now a creature approach you. You realize then that it's a shark, a massive white-bellied one flying overhead. Doesn't seem to notice you. You notice now that the entire temple, filled with water, is filled with sharks also. They swim around you. One kind of bumps into you and then keeps going, kind of embarrassed about what just happened. As you feel something with more purpose approach you from behind.
I turn around to face it.
Roll initiative.
Ooh.
Whoa, what do you mean? Wait, where are all my friends?
Roll initiative.
All right. Come on, 20. Come on, 20. 14.
Let me just... Oh, perfect.
Hey, that's a 1!
There is a 20. There is a 20. You have to either.
GM,
And a 1.
GM,
And a 1.
A 1 got rolled, GM.
All right, a one got rolled. I think with a critical fumble, Deimos, Prince of Nightmares, goes after you despite rolling higher. You can see now the the armored figure of an enormous archdevil flies towards you, ragged glaive in hand, a billowing cloak of black feathers following behind him. You can see now his arms are machine-like prosthetics built from hellish iron, and he comes towards you, four blazing eyes looking into your soul, and they have nothing but hate in them. But you're a little bit faster this time. How do you react while I eat this cookie?
Ooh, okay, all right. My first reaction is to stand at the back of the plane pointing, saying, that motherfucker's not real. Um, I'll do that as a free action. And
Oh, you see, I'm very real.
No.
ooh. Okay, all right. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. First up, by the way, love underwater combat. Let's go. I got my Wii controller ready. That's a reference to Monster Hunter Tri, by the way, on the Wii.
Perfect.
So, am I within melee range?
He's approaching you. He's still like about 20 feet away from you.
20 feet away. Okay.
I'm just gonna say, for the purposes of this dream, you have a swimming speed equal to your walking speed.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I have what do you think? Like like 2 rounds before I drown. Let's go with, I'm thinking. Yeah, I can do this. I can do this. Of course, I'm wielding my sword Eclipse, and this isn't the first time I've fought in underwater combat. I have a long history of dealing with problems bigger than myself, biting off more than I can chew, but I do chew. Um, a notable reality of combat is that with the ability of range, you should always engage in range while your enemies are at melee. I Eldritch Blast this SOB who is not real. Even though, of course, I can't speak because we're underwater, unless we can.
Yeah, you
maybe.
can speak.
Okay, perfect.
As you earlier
Just little
said, this
bubbles come out of
motherfucker. Bubbles coming out of your mouth. You hear yourself loud and clear. Remember something about your mother's domain, not just expanding to the moon, but also the sea, since the moon controls the sea.
It's true. God, I love that bitch. The moon. I do in fact. Joking memory aside, I do scream angrily, fury, almost as to attempt to reflect the anger that I see in those eyes. That feels way too real. You are not real. You do not exist. I Eldritch Blast this SOB. Let me go. I had it in front of me and then I moved away. Kitty over my shoulder points at my character sheet. There it is. Thank you, Kitty. You're incredible. Okay. This is an attack with plus charisma because that is my spellcasting component. It is 2 attacks, so that is freaking roll d20 plus 4. So really just plus 4. Let me double check real quick. Welcome back to combat, by the way. I'm your host, I'm Kieran.
Should be plus proficiency also, right?
Oh, it is. Yeah, that's what it is. I'm like, I was looking at the number and I'm like, that's not right. That's not right. I'm sorry. It should be plus 7. Let's go. All right. One attack is 22. The second one is 23.
Definitely jumps out of the way of one of them, but the other hits him square in the chest. This only slows him down a little bit as he now charges towards you.
Should I roll damage, or are we just gonna,
Yeah, please.
Perfect. I believe it is 1d20 plus 4. Let me just double check real quick. It has been a little time since we last played. That is maximum damage, 14 force damage. A little torpedo shoots out of my sword.
The Eldritch Blast, one of the Eldritch Blasts hits Deimos square on the chest, slows him down a little bit as he flinches, and then resumes his charge, now angrier than ever.
I have a bonus action coming up, by the way. My turn is not over. As another free action, I say, Clearly, you do not know how to fight. You do not charge in melee like this. And I hold Eclipse in front of me, and I utilize Eclipse's unique ability, Be Gone. If a creature can seize below max HP, I can banish it to the lower plane as a bonus action. It is a Charisma difficulty check is 15. You're not
Makes it.
real. All right. Yeah, I'm underwater. A single drop of sweat appears on my forehead. And that's my turn.
As Deimos charges towards you, just before his giant glaive meets your head, he disappears. Only to then appear behind you and slash you across the back. Does a 37 hit you?
Okay, Game Master, listen, we don't have to play these games. No, yeah, it does. It does. Yeah. If 37 hits me from across the room, like a bus. Oh no, I can hear the Game Master adding it up. Oh no!
Hits you for
Oh
53
no!
damage.
Oh no. It's fine. You know what? I've got 5 HP. You know what? The only point of HP that matters is the last one.
For one attack, he's then going to use a bonus action
Oh shit.
to bind you. Please give me a charisma saving throw DC 25.
Okay. That is once again D20 plus 7.
Come on, not 20.
11. Alright. Alright. I've been bound.
As he
haha.
hits you with one of his hexes, you feel your spine almost shatter into two pieces as you fall to the ground, and suddenly your limbs seem to spasm and seize up. As you look up, and the horrifying visage of this archdevil seems to be even more horrifying. It seems mouths have started growing in place of his eyes, and all of them start laughing at you. I was never touching it at all. It was all an illusion. Idiot. He demanifests his glaive, which turns into a cracked sphere floating about him. As he stands above you, arms crossed, and combat drops. You haven't lost your fight, that's good to know. Now go on.
Omni is like seething, like teeth grinding, staring at this thing. And can I say for a second, incredible art, by the way, incredible art. It's beautiful. I can't stop looking at it. Anyways, just teeth grinding. You are not real.
Really? Well, if I'm not real, are you then? Is this place real? Are the feelings you feel real? The betrayal, the pain? Is anything real, Omni? He kind of squats down over you while you're still prone. You make a terrible victim. I knew you as a powerful warrior. Yet here you lie. Prone, grinding your teeth to dust. You haven't got much more left. You shouldn't use a smile, too. He sounds kind of belligerent at that. Almost unexpectedly. Then again, you never knew devils for their kindness. Well?
I look at it. I meet its 4 different gazes, and I say, "If you're gonna kill me, do it now."
He raises one of his mechanical hands and seems to about to strike you when he extends an index finger and boops your nose.
I try to
I
break out of the
struck you.
binds. I'm trying to break out of the binds so fucking hard right now. I'm writhing in place.
He boops you again. I've struck you again. Behold, I can strike you 3 times. And he does it again. Give me another charisma check. DC 11.
I really gotta make these into like macros, man. All right. All right, 16.
You break out of your bounds, immediately strike at your brother again. You notice he's not even in the same place anymore. He's now leaning against a pillar at the far end of the room and waving at you coquettishly. Your aim is a little off, kin. Want to try that again?
You toy with me, Shade.
Shade?
You're not
Shade?
real.
You
You're
throw
not
the
real.
word shade at me. I'm not real. You're not real. We're in a dream. A nightmare, rather. This is my domain, as you might have told. One of the sharks flies by him and he pets it. He's a good boy. Very well, then. Well, Omni, whether I'm real or not, it appears you ended up in my domain. Meaning that, for some reason, heaven still rejects you. Unfortunate, isn't it? Being stuck with me, your least favorite sibling. We can keep fighting if that makes you feel better. You can keep
that's how I
insulting
know.
me. I can keep poking you as well.
That's how
I
I
would
know you're
rather-
not real.
Well,
Effie was my favorite sibling. Was.
was. You're still my favorite sibling for what it matters. No one else in our family even deigns to talk to you in the dream or not. But I'm here. I'm here to listen to you insult me all night long, if that's what it takes. You know how important you have to be that an archdevil of the Nine Hells takes out an entire 9 hours out of his busy day just to talk to you? And for what?
Oh, what's the matter? Were there not any mortals for you to tempt? No realms to take over? No goodness in people's hearts to rob?
Well, would you believe it? It's been a slow Saturday.
Omni actually does kind of snicker at that.
He very slowly approaches you. He doesn't seem hostile at all. The hate that you saw in his eyes seems to be gone, replaced with something like curiosity, caution. The orb that floats around his head, now also with 4 eyes, looks at you curiously. Well, got any more jabs in you?
I got a question.
He sits down crisscross applesauce in front of you. I'm all, well, eyes mostly, but ears also.
You said that none of our family have reached to me. Does that mean they live?
Well, the last time I saw Nimnos, she cursed my name and told me that she would end my bloodline. Which is funny on account of me not having, the faculties.
She was always more emotion than linguistics, yes.
Indeed. He nods sagely.
Is mother alive?
Well, the moon's still up in the sky, so that's hoping.
Does she sleep?
No devil may enter heaven. He shrugs. I don't know, homie.
They've been gone for too long.
We've all been gone for too long. Kind of sighs.
Your kins had it easy. For too long.
Devil kind. Oh, yes. Fighting the war against the demons the gods refuse to own up to. For the past millennia. Who do you think keeps the planes from being overrun by demons nowadays? The gods are busy fighting each other. There's no moon goddess to keep them together. She's, I don't know. And then the madman Ilmar, waving his crooked hands all over the place, trying to take over everything. And then there's Lantana, who stubbornly sits in her castle up on Mount Celestia and does nothing. There's Vol, the Forge Father, who, well, for all we know, has been masturbating for the past 12,000 years in his big mountain castle. No. You speak to me of mortals that should grab my attention, and I wish my job was that easy. I do. I do. And much as it pains me to meet you again after 12,000 years only to claim about my day job to you, it's been tough fighting demons. But you should know that.
12,000?
That's how long you've been gone.
The number doesn't even seem real.
Yeah.
12,000.
He kind of stares into the middle distance and waits for you to sit down next to him. Yeah.
And I do. Crisscross applesauce. Like we used to when we were little.
Eclipse now floats above your head also and looks weirdly over at this strange orb. Corrupted also, much like Eclipse's, but in a very different way. You know that Effie's blade used to be called what do you use? Premonition. And obviously takes the form of a giant glaive, same as Omni takes the form of a katana. Seems to be a little different now. Seems a little cracked in places, a little corrupted, but still same. It's just as attentive as Effie used to know it. And Effie doesn't seem to have lost any of his, any of his curiosity, any of his worry. It's just all turned very cynical over the past years, over the past millennia. Samus's appearance. I think you should have both on screen right now.
Yeah, we do. Thank you, Antier.
His kind of beautiful angelic visage now covered up by this strange beetle-like mask.
A mishmash.
Maybe
of
it's maybe a
machine
sign of
and living.
mix of devil and machine, yes. But he still tilts his head the same way, he still looks at you the same way, and he still has the same mannerisms when he speaks. He's still very much your brother. Well, surely that can't be all you wanted to know. Besides, I want to catch up with you also. How long do you get to talk with your strange twin, right?
It has been too long.
Indeed. Well, to explain a little bit more, I felt that you were reaching out to your family, and I felt that something was dragging you down, and before you fell into the abyss of emotion, I cushioned your fall, though probably not by much. Banishing me to the hells wouldn't have helped you much either way earlier. Where do you think we are?
I reach out with my finger as sort of boop the nose tip of their mask-like face, but I don't. It would have been fun though.
To boop his nose?
To banish you.
Ah. Oh, could you have imagined my face be going, oh!
I look at Eclipsis in its orb form, floating around me. It's it does its thing where like instead of like its head kind of like turns, like it's effectively floating, orbiting around me. Its face sometimes out of view. I've got the same old tricks I did 12,000 years ago.
It's
But not
pity.
you.
You've lost a couple of them. I try to just be a little bit more straightforward in my approach. You get the idea he might be smirking. It's hard to tell. I've received I can still sense people's nightmares. I can sense yours. I can sense the nightmares of your wizard companion. I can hear the screams in the heads outside of your UNT companion. And don't get me started on the little dragon, Wolf. Look after her. She's a sensitive one.
Omni finds it amusing that Deimos, Effie, thought of Stacy as the little dragon, not the other half elf. That's it further drives home the realization that Stacy really has changed, And that's the thing about the little people; they're always changing.
Something
And-
you always had a hard time coming to terms with. You only ever saw their aspirations, and aspirations don't change very much. But nightmares are bound to the realities that we all live in.
Some people like
Sometimes
ideals or
life-
milestones, things we reach for, North Stars. What is your North Star, brother?
He boops your nose. Wouldn't you like to know? Wouldn't you like to know, sword boy?
Omni at being booped yet again for the 4th time today. Defeated in more ways than one. They lean back, kind of like arms behind their neck, you know, like kind of like basking in the sunlight.
Yeah.
Brother, I can't help but feel that it might be time for you to go back to your boring job. We'll talk again. I need to reflect on what I've learned today.
I've got a request for you.
Oh, from me.
Yes, imagine it being in the
What
depth
could
of an
the
archdevil.
archdevil of the 9 hells need from little me?
Well, for one, stop being such a snarky little bastard. For two,
No can do.
the Black Forest holds a little settlement by the name of Black River. There's an old temple to her mother there, and though I care not for the gods and their asinine machinations, I do care for this Black Forest. There's a relic there that only you can use, and it might help us alleviate the situation that the locals are facing. If you were to pay it a visit in your coming adventure, why, I would mighty appreciate it.
I'll think about it.
Oh,
You,
I'm
y-
honored.
You know, Effie. Not a lot has changed. I remember when you would ask me to ask Mom. I wonder why you can't just go and pick it up yourself, but maybe I will. Omni stares into the middle distance. Maybe I will.
Maybe. As the world around you turns dark and you return to a deep slumber, free of dreams and nightmares, including your brother. Carrying right along to Tyr. Tyr, you awaken in a dark, hot place. It seems the air around you is made out of fire. As something like a tarpaulin or a blanket is taken up from you, and you notice that you can't move your arms or legs. Not that you have any. You find that you've been transformed into a broken warhammer, being carried by something unseen through a dark, cavernous place, a roaring fire in the distance. As... A moment. As you're placed on some kind of platform and a giant figure looks down at you, you can only make out the silver grey skin of a truly humongous figure. Silver grey hair growing from its arms and chest, which is bare. Its head completely hidden in the shadows of the upper ceiling of this place. Looks down at you and gives a loud as it gently prizes you up with its enormous fingers, much bigger than any kind of creature that would use you as a regular warhammer, and puts you in a crucible. You hear a mighty voice, the voice of a god, say, this might burn a little bit. As he puts you in the crucible, shuts the cap, and starts melting you down. You feel like it should hurt you a little bit more than it does, but it actually feels kind of nice being taken apart and reconstructed. Soon you can feel yourself being poured back into some kind of mold. You're given some time to cool before you're taken back out by the giant, who takes another hammer to hammer you into the right form now. He takes a little ice pick and starts chiseling the right details into you. Keeps heating you up and cooling you down again, chiseling away a little bit more at a time, when in the end, he dumps you into an enormous pool of ice water. And to give me a survival check, please, as you are drowning in a giant pool of ice.
Hold on. 15.
With a 15, you just so managed to come back to the surface, gasping for a... You look down at your hands and see now that they are made out of glistening stainless steel. You slowly clamber out. You can see the giant has since sat down somewhere across the cavern at what appears to be a pretty small table for him, but a giant table for you. He beckons you over. It feels like days just to get across the room when you finally do, and you manage to clamber from the onto the chair and then from the chair onto the desk. And he offers you what appears to be a thimble, which to you is about the size of one of those giant popcorn-like bags. And he's like, "Oh, hold on, wait a moment." Takes a thimble and fills it up with a little drop of ale from a giant, truly humongous casket. It splashes all over you and your face, and you become sticky. But it tastes nice. He then takes his own tankard and cheers to you, and aids it to you, says, "Right. Down with it."
Alright.
Give me a dexterity check as you try to drink from the giant thimble.
12.
For the 12, you once again drench yourself in ale, but a good portion of it actually lands in your mouth. It's a very dark ale, very fine burnt ale. It tastes kind of like winter and blood and steel and hops, with a back note of bergamot. Very decisive. You think it's a pretty delicious damn ale. As finally the giant looks down far enough for you to see his face. You see now kind of a metallic visage of what appears to be a giant with two pairs of tusks poking out of his mouth, and giant eyes like fiery coals looking down at you. You realize now that this is Vol, or Vulcan, the Forge Father, god of all orcs and dwarves. Says, "Aye, how'd you like the ale?"
I damn drenched myself in that stuff. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Well, I'm glad you like it. I was supposed to keep it for a special occasion, but I don't think that occasion's ever gonna come. So I might as well celebrate you, right? The most loyal little paladin. You know, I really gotta give it to you for sticking up for yourself out there, holding true to your oath. Not a lot of orcs do it nowadays. I'm pretty grateful.
I'm glad to hear you say that. I didn't know I had the honor of coming up here.
Well, you know, we're kind of inside of your mind, so a lot of things can happen.
Oh, okay. So it's like
And it's kind of a metaphor, you see. You were kind of a broken weapon, but you were forged by your own convictions, and now you're out here with your biggest idol drinking the ale of life.
He already thought this was just a really cool day.
Well, it was a really cool day. You met a lot of cool people, right?
It's true.
Had a lot of nice food. Met a hot barkeeper. That was pretty cool, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, don't worry about it. I mean, one of these days, at the end of all time, eventually when you've died for a couple 100 years and you've been fighting at my side down here in Carcerai, and we can all drink to the day that we've finally beaten back all the demons. Which, you know, might be never, but, well, just enjoy the ale, okay?
I will. Thank you very much.
Hey, appreciate it. Appreciate you going up here. Well, then,
Wait, one more question. Why am I here, actually?
in the
What-
Hall
what
of the
does-
Forge Father,
But
well,
what
you know,
does this mean that I'm dreaming about this?
well, it means that if you forged your oath and you are taking a new lease on life. You're going in the right direction, you know? I don't know. I'm a smith, goddammit. I'm not your goddamn dad. So, granted, your father probably should have given you a little bit more. Didn't really give you a lot to go on. Might explain why you were so lost for so long, but, you know. What do I know? It's not easy, you know, being a god. All I ever wanted to do was make weapons for the gods so I could fight demons and be badass out there. And then Lantana was like, No. I commanded, you have to be the god of the orcs. I said, okay, babe, whatever. Anyway, the gods are kind of trying to start another civil war, and I'm not having any part of it, to be honest, but they don't really know that yet.
You are forging weapons.
Well, that's what I'm good at.
Strange.
Well, what do you think I should do then?
I don't know, man. I just realized that in my own dream, the metaphor for myself is a weapon of the gods.
Shit, dude. He takes another sip.
It's fucking gnarly. No, but I mean,
It is gnarly.
isn't it absolutely wild?
Maybe the reason I talk to you this way and I don't really sound very convincing is because you're not very convincing yourself, bro.
What's
I
the name
wanna
of this
chuckle,
god
but-
again?
It's clearly in my head. So I
It's
can just
Vulcan.
make
Okay,
it
thank
up.
you.
No, but
I love Vulcan. Vulcan was always cool.
I just realized that this is just alarmingly like self. What is it called? The word I can't.
German?
Oh no. I will think of it. Anyways, it feels a little bit like I'm punishing myself or something. And
Self-flagellation?
no, just mentally, I have trouble opening up. But
How about, gotta suggest, but he takes his thimble and fills it with a little bit of white ale and tosses it back to you. You take
I
another
drench
sip.
myself again.
You drench yourself again. Alright, have another sip. Think, dear. Because I can appear to you the way I appeared to the first orcs that smith from the cosmic steel of creation. Those were some real tough motherfuckers, let me tell you. Real big guys. There's so many demons in my name back then. Whoa, let me tell you. Those were the days. But you know, it can't always be demon slaughtering.
True.
Sometimes all it has to be is helping the helpless. Helping an old lady cross the road. Standing up for yourself. Saying no to power. Saying that you will make a difference actually, even if the cosmos doesn't want it. And what I think is you're doing a pretty fine job. So maybe you stop doubting yourself and maybe start, I don't know, drinking the ale of life. Punching up. Smashing baddies.
You know what? I will go out there, smash some baddies.
Hell yeah.
Thank
Hell yeah! Toast with you again. You get once again drenched in ale from his cup. Do take a shower. You're pretty sticky.
I will.
With the word sticky reverberating through your head,
Sticky.
you find yourself in a different place. Much, much, much colder. It appears to be the Black Forest, but different. It's gone completely silent. The sky is dark. The trunks of the trees around you are burnt. The leaves and needles have fallen. And you're approached by a familiar figure, looking somewhat destitute. It's your colleague, Rendare. She looks at you with something approximating anger.
Ren, what is it?
What the fuck is it? You have the fucking nerve to tell me what it is? Look what you fucking did. You look back at the forest around you, scorched to the ground.
What do you mean I did this? How could I have done this?
How
What are you
could
talking
you have done this? What does it fucking matter, Tyr? You did it. You did it anyway. No one ever wanted you to. No one ever said you could. No one ever thought you would. But here we are. You just did it because you could.
I still don't understand. What is this about? What have I done?
Well, you tell me. What does it look like?
I burned the forests?
Not just that. See now the trunks of the trees turning into the foundations of burned down buildings. Corpses strewn everywhere. It was a massacre. Every now and then you can see the telltale telltale marks of somebody's head being crushed in by a giant warhammer. Warhammer, you now notice, is still hanging in your hand, dripping with blood.
I throw the hammer away.
It doesn't leave your hand. The more you try to throw it away, the closer your fist clenches. You can feel some kind of fire burning up in the back of your throat. It seems to singe you. You just did it because you could. And now I'm still here and have to clean everything up. You got to be the hero, and then you got to be the monster, and where does that leave me? Mads is gone, you're gone. It's just me now. Just me against monsters like you.
Internally, Tyr is absolutely running wild. I'm thinking about what I might have done to betray anybody, and what I have turned into, and whose help I've accepted, and who I did pacts with to come to this point. And I do not understand a single thing.
Give me an insight check.
Thank God.
Well, Tyr's rolling. I have a quick question, Game Master.
Yes.
Would I know Vulcan?
Why did you give me a religion check?
Did I go to court
Advantage,
with
eh?
him?
Because I'm like, did Vulcan make sorry, premonition and eclipse? Could that?
Hang on, let me pull up what all the weapons were called. But yeah, he did make those.
You did, dude! Hell
He's the smith-
yeah,
He's the blacksmith of the gods.
dude! Love that guy.
And he created the Earthbound peoples, the
Dude, he
dwarves,
totally
the gnomes.
would. Such a
He
Vulcan
created
thing to
he
do.
created all those people to be like to diversify the craft and to further development and to always keep the forge of invention going. And he did a lot of great marvelous things, but you also know that you never really got to talk to him because if there's one thing he hated above anything else, it was talking to people. And to hear Memnos, who was like the same generation as him, talk about him, he was really bad at conversations too. But he was a genius and like an amazing like god and man.
That's with my 13, I assume.
Yes.
Really, Vulcan really was the original. I just want to sit here and play with my fucked up little toys. Love him. Anyways,
you remember what Deimos said, that for all the gods know, he's been sitting in his forge for the past 12,000 years masturbating.
Nah, he's making fucked up little guys.
He's making fucked up little guys. I'm pointing at Florian. Inside check. Back to this very serious scene.
Sorry.
To follow your oath, would you not go to the ends of the world? You're left with this question. It burns on your mind. Would you do this? Would this be too high a price to pay?
Suddenly, I'm not sure anymore.
The corpses start to move as they start getting up and shambling towards you. You can see Rendari drops the helmet from her hands that she's been holding this whole time and stares you down, her eyes turning a deep black color, ichor oozing from her nose, mouth, and eyes. She says, "Is it not enough? Is it not enough? Have you not done enough?" You find the hammer finding purchase in your other hand too, as you're ready to attack whatever this creature is. Roll initiative, please. 16. What does Rendari get? Let me just say it's a...
Not my girl Ren.
Nah, don't worry about it. That's not her. Ah!
Ouch.
The creature drops her helmet. As you can see, she transforms to something else. her flesh seems to desiccate from her bones, as nothing much more is left than sinew and bone. Giant fangs grow out of her mouth, and her armor and cloak become tatters and ribbons and bones and spikes and chitin. As the Death Knight stands in front of you and pulls out his bow. We're gonna do this a little different. You're just gonna give me a skill check to see if you can avoid everything. First, of course, he's going to do a skill check. Let's make it.
Athletics.
Just give me like a general check plus. Just give me like an attack roll, like a general attack roll. You have to roll damage.
23.
23 against 14. You manage to beat back the Death Knight and his and its undead cohorts for the moment. And you feel like you might get the upper hand on this. We're gonna do another roll. You also do another roll. 21.
27.
27.
Yeah. Well, I got a 20 though.
Critical hit against an 11. You actually managed to beat them back a fair bit. As you notice now that the trees and foundations around you just turn into bones. Everything seems to be made up of dead bodies now. You wonder how you ended up in this kind of hellscape now from this pretty rad dream you had earlier, fighting against your once comrade who's now turned into a Death Knight. As we roll one last time.
11.
She manages to put a pretty big notch into your chest plate. As she howls and shrieks and says, "Oh, the breaker!" You wake up with a start. That was your dream sequence, Tyr.
Whee.
Don't look at me that way.
Jesus!
Excuse me, Game Master. A 20 was rolled during that sequence. Please.
Oh,
consume
god
it
damn it.
Can I have a cookie too?
Of course you can have it.
No,
Oh,
not
oh,
you. Just Game Master.
Tyrken has cookie.
Okay, you know what? Tyrken has cookie. People just missed so much lore drop. So many lore drops just happened.
Is the sword my cousin?
Yeah, so technically speaking, Eclipse and Premonition are literally cousins to Antir. No, sorry, to Tyr and his people.
Also all the dwarves and gnomes. So
Especially the gnomes.
specifically
Very-
the gnomes.
It's a very
Can,
big.
can we
family
pull up?
tree.
Can we pull up the portrait of what's she called now? Captain Hall.
Let's see.
Yeah. Look at her. Yeah. She's also Eclipse's cousin now. She's also Tyr's
Yeah.
cousin.
Dude.
Amazing.
Eclipse is sitting over here like, oh, there's so many more people I'm not gonna give Christmas presents to.
The commander
I'm
also
gonna
a
give it to
cousin.
Moonmas.
Wait, but
Moonmas.
I want Christmas present from Sword.
I want Christmas presents from Zoid. Where's Lieutenant?
Dude,
there you are.
why do you get a sword for Christmas? Like, a new
Grease.
sheath? Oh, thanks. Wow.
Like some metal polish.
Wait, I'm pretty sure I have another like portrait of Omni handy as well, where you can see what Eclipse looks like.
Yeah.
Oh wait, huh? No,
You don't have a Eclipse Andy?
I don't have
Uh,
Eclipse
well-
handy.
Well, thankfully, I have the image that I used for the promo today, which has my rendition of there you go, boom, my rendition of Eclipse, where he's a little silly guy.
Little ball.
Amazing.
Happy little
That's so
ball.
cute.
Okay, so now are we ready? Are you done taking
Yes.
notes?
Yeah, I'm done taking notes.
Oui, oui.
Right. We're just continuing in. Hang on, one moment.
The
I need
SETI
to.
stream.
Yeah, dream time.
I need to. Hang on.
Let me get the. Can I get the?
Gonna get a
Gonna get a hell yeah.
shot every time Siska says Right.
Do number
Setting.
9.
You find yourself in a long hallway. You can see that you're inside of a very well-established house by a very rich family. You can see that the walls next to you and the walls around you are like decked out in like nice decorations, portraits, very expensive, tapestries. And you can see that the windows are completely blacked out. You can see the hallway to your front and in front of you and behind you stretches on for a good while. And you start going, you notice that it gets hotter, and you can't help but hear in the distance what appears to be the crying of an infant.
I feel in control at the moment.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I go towards the sound of the voice.
The closer you get, the far away it seems to be. And it's getting hotter and hotter and hotter. You feel like it'll only take a spark for this entire house to be set on fire, but the hallway just stretches on infinitely in front of you.
There are windows here.
You look out the windows and you can't see anything. It's like they're blacked out, but they're not. It's just the outside world has turned to complete blackness. You don't know whether it's just a starless, overcast sky or whether you're even still in the material plane.
I walk ahead, torch in hand.
You grab one of the you grab like the chair of a stool. You grab like the leg of a stool and wrap it in some curtains and set it on fire. And it gets hotter and hotter and hotter, and the hall in front of behind you gets darker and darker. The brighter the torch shines. What's more, the hallway seems to be getting tighter the further you get. The walls are coming closer. The ceiling is lowering.
I hold the torch up against the ceiling.
There's almost nothing left. You can't even stretch out your entire arm. You have trouble standing upright. Soon enough you're gonna have to start standing sideways just so you can fit in at all. You look back and either you've gone a lot further than you thought, or the hallway has always been this tight, because it looks the same way when you look back. Do you stand still at any point?
Now I stand still.
You hear a rumbling outside. Give me a perception check.
Ooh, net 20, 23.
That's a cookie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, let's go.
Running out of cookies.
This guy, what kind of cookies are you?
Try chocolate. We've got white, dark, and milk.
Good choice.
You clock pretty much immediately that it's some kind of creature speaking in abyssal, but the only words you seem to be able to make out, even though you've got pretty good ears now, is Goslin. Stand still for a moment. Think about where you are and what it means. You look behind yourself and there's a door.
Hmm.
You look at your hand and the torch is no longer a torch, but what appears to be a hand-woven basket. Look inside. Underneath a handkerchief you find a box, a tin of what appears to be tea, 2 cups, and what appears to be some kind of taffy wrapped in a beautiful, like, silver wrapper. The door in front of you, you can finally hear the crying of the baby loud and clearly. The heat is gone. You seem to be now at the end of the hallway, and you look behind and it ends only a couple feet away and seems to be open into some kind of mezzanine.
There is no mirror anywhere close by.
There is a mirror close by. You walk back a couple steps, you can see there's actually some kind of wardrobe, a dressing room. Look in, you see yourself, your good old self, burn scars and all, only this time you seem to be wearing a very fine doublet over a very fine blouse, with some very nice high-waisted jeans, some very fine crocodile skin boots, some rings around your fingers, and you scoff a little bit as you can see that your beard has grown in even more than usual, with a little bit of goatee underneath your chin. You look hale and healthy. A little bit fatter than you're used to, but not ugly in any way.
I don't remember this.
You hear the voice outside again, but once again the only word you can make out is this? Question mark.
This.
You turn your attention back to... Your attention goes back to the room with the crying baby.
I go towards the room, but I say out loud, there was no baby.
You can hear a familiar voice from inside calling, "What?"
I try to open the door if I get to the door.
Open the door, get inside. Meska is lying on the bed with the baby climbing all over her. "What did you say? Sorry, honey, I didn't understand you."
No, it's fine. I was just thinking to myself some things.
A small, wanty baby looks at you with big turquoise eyes and coos as you enter the room, and then she starts scuttling toward you. Before you can even interject, she's already halfway up your leg. She's a good climber.
I pick her up and
"Oh,
put her
Beryl,
in my
get
neck.
down from Daddy. He's had a busy day." The baby does not seem to listen to reason. She's ravenous. She's climbing up you. There's no helping her.
I pick her up and put her in my neck.
She gives a very satisfied coo as you put down the basket on the writing table. Meska looks at you expectantly, waiting for you to come in and kiss her cheek.
I go towards her and kiss her forehead.
Ah. Well, I hope your day wasn't too busy. We've been keeping busy, you know. Beryl is, she's finally learning how to speak, only the only word she seems to want to say is fish. So today we went to the market and, well, you'll have to excuse me, but it seems we're only eating cod this week. She kind of grabs her head and sighs. "You got the tea, right? Do you mind preparing it? I'm exhausted."
No, it's fine. Go ahead. Take a rest.
She lies back down and Beryl, your daughter seems to start chewing on your scalp like some kind of cat. Now stop doing that. Her teeth are only just growing and just... Oh. I'm sorry, I hope she's not venomous yet. That's a weird thing about UNT children. You never quite know when they start developing venom. You seem to be fine for now, or if you aren't, you haven't noticed yet. You start preparing the tea. You notice it's Meska's favorite. It's anise. Put in some ginger, some lemon, and you notice the taffy. As you prepare the tea, Meska starts telling you about the day, how they went to the market, how they met up with Inxissa on the way there, who kind of helps out around the household every now and then. How Inxissa's new girlfriend, Matea, is doing really well in the tavern that they have. Though she seems a little bit hesitant to meet with you yet for some reason. How Beryl has been doing really well in learning how to speak, but how she doesn't want to stop climbing everywhere. You hand the taffy over to your belligerent little child, as it gives a satisfying little yelp, and you put her down back on the bed. I presume you hand your wife her tea as you sit down next to her.
Correct.
But what have you been up to?
Well, I've been investigating some leads again.
Did they lead you anywhere important?
Nothing as important as this, but I feel like there's something out there for me to do.
Well, as soon as you've found it, don't forget your way home again, alright? You seem to remember something about someone needing to guide you home because you keep forgetting where you actually live. It's a little bit embarrassing, but from what you can tell, Beryl seems to have been spared that fate. She's very good at locating things. In fact, she keeps locating the cookie tin.
Try to...
Yeah, she's... she gives a happy little coo. Yeah, who knows? Sooner or later she's going to join the family business and she's going to outperform both of us. Just you wait.
If that's what she wants, I hope so. But
I think she mostly just wants more cookies. She starts putting on your weird boyd ears. Oh, no, don't pull that. Daddy's very sensitive there. You hear the doorbell ring.
I'll go get it.
Oh yeah, I think Ixissa still wanted to drop off something. Oh, don't worry, we're not moving anywhere, right? And she gives Beryl a very serious look. Beryl gives a very serious look back. As you head over to the mezzanine, take the stairs down to the foyer. You know, there's a nice. You see, there's like a nice statue in the middle of the foyer, resembling. What do you think it resembles?
I guess if this is the house of my family business, it would resemble my mother.
Your mother, a very stately, one-tea lady, welcoming with open arms the people entering the house. You go to the door, which is a nice, stately door, of course. You paid for it with all the money you made on your very important job as a spy for the King of Maracas. You open the door, and there's nothing there. The black, endless void. Curious, you think, because this is not how you remember your sister looking, but who knows what she's up to nowadays. Then you come to your senses. That's no void. That's not the night sky. As you can see, glistening scales moving. Indeed, the darkness in front of every single window in your house starts moving. As you can see, a massive black snake coiled around your house, blacking out the light. The rumbling starts up again. And this time you don't miss a single word as it says, "Don't open the door." As a tendril of darkness grabs you and pulls you out of your house, everything seems to disintegrate around you. Before you can even roll out any punches, you find yourself in the coils of a massive three-eyed serpent. An avatar of Mershok, god of serpents. He looks down at you now, hissing. So, that's what you're up to when you're dreaming, is it? I'm not sure if it's disappointing. Just tell me, what were you hoping to gain out of this?
A night's rest. An idea of punishing myself. A visualization of what I've lost.
So grim. Perhaps I can make something of you yet. You realize this future is not out of reach for you yet. I can provide it for you, if you let me.
But what would it cost me?
What indeed? What are you willing to pay? What can you give me? You have no soul. You have no heart. All you have is a head full of regrets, a heart full of pain. I could take that.
You want my heart? You can take
I
it.
want your pain. I want your pain. Give me your pain.
The absurdity of the situation occurs to you now as a giant snake is arguing with you for something that you cannot give.
If you want.
It was only ever your pain.
I try to wriggle one of my arms out of the grasp and try to punch the avatar of Merkel in the nose.
Mershal.
Mershaw.
Yeah, totally. Give me an attack roll.
Oh, 19.
You punch that big snake so much on its stupid nose that it recoils and screams in agony. Ha! Ha! My nose! Ah!
Is this not what you wanted? Pain?
You struck it again. Ah! Ow! 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 What? No! Stop! You struck it again. Ah! Stop! All right. Ah! Fuck! Ow! Very well, soulless one. You've made your point plain and out. Stop! Plain and simple. Ow! 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 Ah! My sniffer. You got it really good. Very well, Seti. Perhaps if you cannot give me your pain, then I cannot give you mine. But I can give you this. The very tippy tip of the snake's tail uncurls over your hand, and you receive in your open palm what appears to be a scoot,
A what?
like a shed scale.
Oh.
It seems potent with some kind of dark demonic magic. You pocket it for the time being. Please add to your inventory Seed of Chaos.
Ooh.
Very well. I'll take note not to torment you so. There's no gain from it. You've known more than your share of torment. I do hope that you achieve your dreams one day, so that maybe you have something to sacrifice. Right now, I cannot reach into pockets that are already empty.
You raise your fist again, and the avatar of a demon lord kind of recoils at you. Gain a point of inspiration
Nice.
as well. As Mershok uncurls and you fall into the deep darkness and also into a deep, dreamless slumber. Stacy, Xiomara, how about you both roll me a dice?
What
Well,
Like a
kind of...
Alrighty.
d6?
Okay, wait. Now you get to eat a cookie at
Ooh.
least.
That's a 1.
Oh, great.
Let's share it. I'm full.
Oh, very, very nice. Thank you.
One moment.
Un momento.
damn.
What?
For context, Francisca just sat down crisscross applesauce on her chair.
I always do that.
It's pretty crazy looking.
I always do that. Like every time you see me kind of sit back at my desk, that's what I do every single time.
I did not know, and it's a fun fact to me.
Fun fact, this guy's an owl.
I'm also sitting crisscross on my chair.
No applesauce?
No
No
applesauce.
applesauce. These
Aw.
We
cookies are
call
sweet
it
enough, Maxi.
Apfelmus.
Chris Cruz Appelmoes.
Stacy,
Yes.
actually give you the chance to roll a charisma saving throw for me.
Oh, charisma saving throw. Like, this is my worst saving throw I have.
That's why I like giving them. No one's good at them.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
One moment.
It's okay. Enjoy your cookie.
Stacy, you find yourself lying on a bedroll, your eyes slowly drifting open as a snowflake lands on your nose. You appear to be in the deep depths of the Blue Forest. Not entirely sure how you got here, but it's deep at night. Snow is falling all around you. It's already covered most of the canopies around you, but you seem to be in some kind of clearing. A bedroll is put up next to a campfire, now slowly sputtering out. You get up slowly and reignite it as, at the far end of the campsite, you notice a figure, hunched or perhaps sitting, with an enormous billowing black feather coat. Doing some kind of repetitive motion, you can see there's a head poking out at the top of the cloak with raven black hair. He twitches his head, looking back at you slightly as he hears you get up.
Is the cloak as black as the one from Kuko?
Very much so, yes. It seems to be made of the same material. Though that seems years away from you now. You seem to be kind of swimming in your memory, even though the snow and the cold around you seems very real. Notice now that you don't really wear much than your regular armor, though your hands are a little bit more slender, your limbs a little bit longer, and your skin a little bit fairer. Now that doesn't seem to be entirely your body. Tiny silvery scales cover the back of your hands.
Stacy follows some of the scales with her hand, and she slowly approaches the figure.
You're up already. It's not your turn yet. Nashtu.
The voice seems heavy with exhaustion and remorse.
Not entirely sure. Go back to sleep.
He doesn't turn around to face you completely.
But the snow woke me up.
Well, you're a silver dragon, aren't you? Why would it bother you?
That's the point. It's not bothering me. It's why I woke up. The snow will tell us something.
Finally, he turns around to face you. Familiar, pale, elfin face. Deep, black eyes, not filled with malice, filled with sorrow. Thick streams of black tears running down his face. You can see now his hair is a great deal longer than what you remember. He still wears the same armor underneath, but the cloak is new. So is the expression. Stacy only remembers Goodman as a man, a creature of complete spite and anger and destruction. Nastra remembers him as a friend, somebody with an easy smile, and even easier dagger. The creature that you see before you now is one of sadness.
What might they show me then, Dragon?
Maybe the opportunity to clear your mind. Because snow will make your surroundings quieter. It will cover out the unnecessary noise.
He stopped what he was doing, which you figure out now he was fletching arrows for a battle that might never come. You know that whenever he gets extremely distracted by something, he tries to pull himself back together by focusing on the menial task. And he stops, puts away his arrows, and says, he breathes in deep and says, well,
Do you, in your infinite wisdom, then suggest that we go for a walk?
Yes, walking and talking. That's a good bestie's rituals.
he smirks beside himself, despite himself. He sheathes his swords, pulls back, slings his arrow, slings his bow over his shoulder, and he gets up from his stool. He stands above you, easily like 2 feet taller than you. Looks down and says, "Well, lead the way." You walk a little bit along a forest path, which was forged by some druids before you. You don't really talk to the autumn druids anymore, but you might again soon. You don't quite remember why you're here or what put Goodman in such a state. You just remember that he needs a lot of support right now.
I offer my arm so he can I don't know, in German we say unterhaken.
Oh yeah, he can hook in with you.
Hook in, okay. And since I have a feeling that it's something really personal, I try to step on the thin ice and ask about his daughter.
Give me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh yes.
The word almost leaves your mouth, but then you realize that would be a catastrophic thing to say to him right now. An immensely terrible thing to say to him right now. Finally, it dawns on you. His daughter is dead. And he didn't know it until just a few hours ago. When you visited his home for a quick break before you travel on the rest to the east of the continent, you found his home burned down to ash. And of his husband and his daughter, you only found burnt remains. It comes back to you now in a flood, and you almost join him in crying for a moment, but then you catch yourself. And you ask him about the wild fauna that lives in these forests instead. For a moment, he stops crying and he explains to you that the theropods that live in these woods usually hibernate for the winter, though some actually migrate south. And he starts talking about all these funny animals that live in this forest, and he seems to collect himself a little bit again.
Okay, so while going our route, I try to look out for some teeth of those tripods because they make good arrow
Heads.
thingies. Yes, heads.
Give me a survival check. You find a very nice big tooth that used to belong to something that the natives of this place call a gulu. The scholars of the New World call it an Albertosaurus. You found a nice and big one. Seems to be a molar. You hand it over to him. He says,
I think this will do, yes. Thank you.
pockets it. As the two of you continue your walk. Your walk kind of meanders on for a while. Before you know it, dawn has set back in and the snow all seems to have melted. What's more, you look now on Goodman's face and you see that not just are the tears gone, but his pure raven black hair has been interrupted by a singular strand, no more than like 5 hairs, of silvery white hair starting just above his eyebrow. He observes the strand of white hair and says,
That's interesting.
give me an insight check. Insight or Arcana, up to you.
Let me see. Oh yeah, I rather go for inside. Wow, okay, good.
I'm not entirely sure what's going on, but it appears all the emotional changes of becoming your companion are also manifesting as physical changes now. Many thousands of years later, you would know Goodman as someone with a full like a thick strand of white hair just above his eyebrow. So whatever happened to him on that fateful day in the forest, it must have happened many more times in the interim. Wow. Well, just a forest walk for you, Stacy. I'm sorry. Nothing earth-shattering. Well, except of course, right. With that, we now turn to Algernon, Samara.
Yay.
It feels like a warm mother's hand caressing your face. Which then you realize is the warm parchment of a book that your face dropped into when you fell asleep at work again. You find yourself now in the Archmage's office. It appears to be a couple hours to midnight, maybe like 9 p.m., 10 p.m. You don't really hear much at all. The candle on your desk, the lantern on your desk has all but died out, and you scoff at yourself for falling asleep while studying again. But then again, no one quite performs the way you do. So suppose you can afford a little nap every now and then.
Only a tiny one. Not longer than 30 minutes.
You hear somebody coming up the staircase leading to the Archmage's office. You have about 30 seconds to clean up your desk. You presume it's Yoza coming back to check up on you, or maybe to run some errands for the Archmage. You haven't seen the Archmage themselves for quite a while. You seem to remember something about a council meeting, but you're not entirely sure what will take them so long. So I suppose you clean up your desk.
Yeah, I just
And-
like stacked the books in the tallest tower that I could produce in 30 seconds.
A little bit of prestidigitation, a little bit of the mending spell helps a little bit to create the most eloquent tower of books you've ever built. It doesn't
Your
even
skill.
it doesn't even flinch as the door swings open and Yosa comes in carrying once again a tray of what appears to be tea, cookies, biscuits, a couple of books. The tray is ridiculously large, but they're going to use as a pretty big woman. Puts them down on her desk and looks over at you, adjusts her spectacles and inhales through her nose, saying, "Samara, you're still here. Ain't that a surprise?
Well,
What
What are
might
you
have
doing
you
here?
studying so late?"
oh my god. I just. The usual business, I suppose.
Usual business. Still working on those incantations, I suppose. Samara, darling, you didn't happen to see a small purple envelope? Yes, now just the thing in front of you, right on your desk.
No.
Give me a performance check.
Was. Wait, where is it? P. Oof. Okay. 14.
Ah, very clever. Do you mind giving it to me?
I
Before
like.
you can even respond, she prestidigitates it into her hand. Looks at it, says, "Well, I see, the Silly Council meeting is still in session. There is a little errand I have to run with for the Archmage. You're free to join me if you like. It's just a delivery from Rogilius that we have to pick up. Completely free to simply stay at your desk and keep working on your incantations, I'm sure. However, if you're at all interested in the managerial work that has to be done in this office, feel free to join me. I'd be happy to show you."
I'm already standing.
Ready as always, I see. Follow me. She pockets the envelope, which you seem to remember being very heavy, and leads you down the stairs and to a teleportation circle room. She bids you step on it, and as soon as you do, you find yourself in a very dark place. You hear the rush of waves outside, but the room you're in is almost completely dark, save for a singular lantern. As Yoda says, "Well, we're here now in the reception area for any kind of post we get here at the Royal Uni. There's a very singular delivery that the Archmage requested, and we might even be able to catch it today." "Well, you're in luck, it seems," says another voice, as two adventurers step into the light. One seems to be like a tiefling woman of middling age, purple skin, purple eyes, a hood over her face. The other, a very tall, muscle-bound Goliath man, like a half-giant, wearing full plate armor. You can't see his face behind the visor, but he seems personable enough. The tiefling woman produces what appears to be a large cargo box. It's around the size of your torso, and she says, "Ah, yeah, you must be Vico's representative, is that right?" "The very same. I'm Professor Farfar from the University Royale." Yes, whatever. Do you have the payment?" "Right here." Hands her the envelope. As Yosa goes to open the crate, you can see with a worried expression as the tiefling mercenary opens the envelope and finds like a long metallic sheet in it. And she says, "Well, what the fuck is this then, huh? You trying to fuck us over, orc?" You can see Yosa's eyes twitch a little bit as she's still inspecting the contents of the box. She says, "I assure you, this is all the Archmage entrusted to me. If you have any complaints, I'll be happy to summon them down here, though they will still be in session at the council." I don't care, just tell me what it is. What did you give me, like, either an investigation or an arcana check, Simar, to figure out what all the buzz is about.
Aww. Investigations +7 and let's do investigation.
Alright.
The 24.
What that ingrate there is holding is a sheet of pure enriched orichalcum. So rare you could buy a whole kingdom with just the sheet she's holding right there, and she's scoffing at it. You get the idea that she might not even know what it is.
Fucking dumbass.
Do you say that out loud?
I like mumble it under my breath, like, God, what idiots.
You can see one of her eyes twitch, one of her ears twitch as she turns her big purple eyes at you. Ah, got a smarty in the room too. Who might you be, kid?
Just a student, so don't worry about it.
That's just doing there. Think you're smarter than me, kid? Think you know so much more than me? Well, then tell me what the fuck this is, huh? Tell me why I shouldn't just knife the both of you and just take the fucking box and be on our way. Might even keep this fucking sheet. You can see now that Yoza seems to tense up and the big muscle-bound warrior seems to relax even more.
Alright, stop shooting them. Just take the payment. I believe there's an orichalcum machine, right?
He looks over at you.
Sure is.
There you go. See? Not getting fucked over. The Archmage is more honest than that. You're a wise kid. Just don't go starting any fights, right?
Oh.
Yeah. Don't make any promises you can't keep, eh? Well, toodles. Pleasure doing business with you. Just don't count on us too soon. We got a lot of hot water with the last job. You know, finding a live purple dragon heart puts you in kind of a bad place with purple dragons, turns out. Very well. Suppose your Archmage's pretty smart. They'll know how to find us. Either way, take care.
The tiefling woman's still staring at you. Both of the mercenaries disappear as they step on another teleportation circle.
I like wave goodbye, but in a way that's really like pretentious.
Sarcastic.
Yeah.
Yoza looks at you a little befuddled, but shrugs as she closes the box back up again and bids you step on the teleportation circle. As you appear back in the university, she informs you that the box is to be brought into storage. It seems to contain two items of pretty distinct value. They're not entirely sure what that value even is. Seem to be collector's items. One of them some kind of spell component, as the big mercenary said, the heart of a purple dragon. You're not even sure you've heard of purple dragons before, but you wouldn't really want to care much about dragons at all. And what appears to be an ornate, ancient sword with a pommel and blade apparently made out of a blue kind of crystal. Yoza doesn't touch it without wearing mittens, so you get kind of the idea that it's dangerous to touch. You get a good look at it. It seems to be kind of swung, kind of curved, kind of a katana type shape. As Yoza puts it into office and says, well, apparently this sword was in the possession of a purple dragon down in Regilius. Apparently found by the locals a couple 100 years ago, but no one was been able to wield it. Everyone just got burned. The legends say some kind of ancient spirit is trapped inside of it, though. You know how superstition gets. From what I can tell, the owner lost it in the desert and forgot to take off the warding sigils, and they've miraculously held up for like at least 1,000 years. If only Yoza knew, you think to yourself. She puts the jar with the dragon heart on one of the shelves, and you return to the office. You find Vico's already sitting there at their desk. They've taken off their coat, just sitting there in their shirt, arms, sleeves rolled up, head in their hands, and clutching a tumbler full of water. As I say, "Oh, you're back. Fantastic. Suppose you got the delivery. I hope the mercenaries didn't give you too much trouble." Sienna curtly explains that the mercenaries will not be able to work with them for the time being, and Vico just shrugs, says, "Well, cost of business, I suppose. How go the sigil work, Samara?"
Good as it can, I think.
They scratch the chin and nod sagely and say,
"Well, if you ever need support, and either of us are available, do not hesitate to confer with me or Yoza, you understand? We are more than happy to help you."
I hum in a way that makes very clear that I will not ask for help no matter what happens.
Yoza's behind you, you can't see her face, but you can practically feel her scowling at you. Right. Do you know what the component is for that I ordered, Samara?
Not yet.
Very rare and dangerous spell. One that I hope I never have to use, but one that will be fun to try nonetheless. I'd like to demonstrate it to you tonight, if you don't have anything planned.
Sigil work can wait. Obviously.
They seem to rejuvenated at that, and they turn down the tumbler, prestidigitate for like a moment, and they're already wearing their coat again. The hat is back on their head. They look rejuvenated as always, and they say, "Very well. Tonight is the right moon to conduct such an experiment. I'll be ecstatic to show it to you." One moment. Let me just get the... There you go. There they are.
There is that bastard.
Fast forward a couple of hours, you find yourselves in one of the conjuration circles in one of the practice rooms of the uni. It's way after hours. It appears to be about 3 in the morning. The moon outside is full and shining bright. It's almost as bright as day outside, which you know as an I believe you're a... Sorry. You're a conjurer, right?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. As a conjurer, you know that when the moon is full, that the veil between the planes is actually the thinnest, meaning that cross-plane travel is actually the easiest. It also makes a bunch of rituals extremely easy, such as this one. Vico has since drawn a circle in chalk. At one end, they put a little jar with a mummified hand in it, which they've told you is the mummified hand of an archangel of a god that is dead, which has some very strange properties, including that the soul of this creature cannot be claimed by any god, rendering it effectively soulless, meaning it is the perfect vessel for the transmogrification of a soul. And while this seems complicated, it's pretty easy when you think about it as some kind of vessel. You need some place to hold the water while you prepare the other vessel that the water needs to go into. At the end of the circle is a box with a little dead kitten inside. Vico goes over it, explaining that their predecessor, Anario Guterres, had a small black kitten by the name of Hades. Unfortunately, during a conjuration accident, Hades was completely destroyed, and his soul was torn into 1,000 pieces and destroyed, making it impossible to resurrect him, unfortunately. Which means that Anariel obviously had him mummified and put into storage until she found a way of resurrecting him.
Naturally.
Anariel has since been sacked and banned from and exiled herself, but Vico doesn't seem to have as many moral hang-ups as her. It's the idea you've got working with them. They go over the ritual with you, which basically they basically explain to you that the point of the ritual is taking the soul of one creature, or at least part of it, and transferring it into a creature that doesn't have one, thereby enabling it to resurrect it. And let me just check my notes to tell you what the spell is called. It's called the Sans Defined Recompletion. Gonna assume that you know about that later. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
And they ask you to take notes as they perform the ritual. They once again take off their cloak, take off their hat, as they sit in the middle of the circle and start chanting the ritual. As you look at it, as you look at the dead kitten, it seems to be replaced with Seri, shrunk down to the size of a poor dead kitten, and the hand of the Archangel transformed into the heart of a purple dragon when memories start morphing together and connections seem to reform. You don't remember what happens next. You just remember that the next morning you were sitting at your desk in the Archmage's office with a cat purring on the table next to you, which only slightly irritated you, but that little bastard is just so adorable.
God, we love cats.
Hades wakes up from his little nap and starts bapping at your hand, kind of urging you to take a break from all your studies.
I sigh really, really heavily, but lay down the book or the pen or whatever I'm doing, and like start to scratch Hades behind like the ears.
He starts purring up a storm, and you start to wonder why you're even doing all these things. And thinking about the fact that this little kitten got a new start, and you never really did. You never really got to talk it out with your father. You never really got to tell him how much you hated him. You never got to take revenge on him. At which point you forge a plan. The rest is history. Right. At that point, as you all wake up on the next morning and future Siska has to prepare something to actually do that isn't just flashbacks, we're gonna end today's session proper. I mean, we're gonna now enter into the post session where everyone can just kind of say anything.
Why was I a
First of-
cat?
No, I got it. I got it.
So Mara will be able to tell you that the Sans Defined Recompletion is the exact same ritual that Vico performed years later to resurrect Seti, whose soul had been torn
Yeah.
asunder.
Oh.
Only instead of using a the hand of an archangel, they used the heart of a purple dragon. I mean, give me an Arcana check as to why a purple dragon heart is like an archangel's hand, but don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Ooh, oh, 90.
That's how you're like, okay. So at the beginning of the dawn war, when the dragon split from the serpents, Tiamat said, I'm gonna take all the colored dragons. I'm gonna take red and green and blue and black and white and yellow, but what the fuck is that? Pointing at purple dragons. So she disowned the purple dragons, which do not have a god that looks over them, meaning when they die, their soul just disappears. Same with the soul of the purple dragon whose heart was stolen, meaning it was the perfect vessel for a soul.
And now you exist.
And that's why your ears are void.
Probably, yeah.
Game Master, you're winding down, ending the session, but we haven't figured out who won the game.
Yeah, the
Who
prompts.
won the Dungeons and Dragons?
One of these days, you're gonna let me get away with it.
Never.
Game Master,
why-
teacher, you didn't give us homework today.
Gonna go step by step. Omni, what was your prompt for today?
Seek peace, which I'm going to tell you I rolled a natural 1 on that. Please eat a cookie. I think I've taken a step towards seeking peace, but
I mean, you were pretty violent too, or trying to.
yeah, you know.
I mean, as soon as you said seek peace, Florence started nodding, which I think is a pretty good indicator. No, I think you did a very good job seeking peace. Taking your mortal enemy and just being like, you know what? You're going from you are not real to you fucking dickhead. Is just a marvelous character development, which I had a lot of fun observing that situation from my creep stool over here to DM. No, I think you did a really good job. Seti, what was your job? What was your task?
Embrace the darkness.
I mean, you really stepped out into the darkness and then punched it in the face, which debatable if that's embracing it, but I think that was pretty cool anyway.
Also burning down the hallways, like embracing the darkness.
I was considering it, so I first was thinking that it was the house of the robbery, but no, it was another house.
It was both. That was kind of the point of the dream.
Oh, okay, so I was not mistaken at first.
Yeah, you weren't. You picked up on my vibes exactly as you were supposed to. Stacy, what was your prompt?
Cry because it happened.
You sure did. You
Oh,
certainly
yes.
did. Tia, what was your prompt for today?
I don't remember. I rolled a 6.
I believe it was let cooler heads prevail, and with the amount of cool ale you dropped over your head, I think it's fair to say that you did.
I think meeting my god and then meeting the manifestation of my fears and then being pretty chill about it is.
We've got so many good contestants today, and finally we have Samara, who,
Girl
if the
boss.
prompt had been gatekeep, you would have been really good at it.
Oh, but
Yeah.
no girl bossing though.
No,
No.
not a lot
Girl
of girl
bossing.
bossing today, unfortunately.
Oh.
Girl bossing is hard, okay?
But at least there was a little bit of girl bossing when they tried to handle the sword on their own.
I don't think
Right?
Samara even touched Eclipse, but
No. I was like,
I'm
gonna keep
pretty
my
sure
hands
they
away
would
from
have died.
that.
Oh, that's good for the notes. Good for the notes. Eclipse equals cousin.
Eclipse equals cousin. I had a scene prepared a long while ago where it was just gonna be explained that Samara basically knew about Eclipse and they knew about the ritual already, but just kind of setting up things that were later established. But now I've already established the things, and the setup came later, so I don't know. It's a filler episode, okay? It's fine. In this case,
No, we went to the beach and we had fun at the hot
And-
springs.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
onsen.
We had watermelon on the beach, and it was great. and I definitely love meeting Shmuddy Vishmuddy, who will definitely come back on the next episode. Wasn't just a one-off character.
I have trouble not bringing back. I have trouble not bringing back characters. Is the thing. How about today? I'm just going to give it to Omni.
Hey, congrats.
Yeah.
Omni.
Whoa.
Very special gift for you today.
Ooh.
Either in between this session and the next, or during next session, you can ask the Cosmos a question and get a specific answer. Similar to what Seti already did a couple of sessions ago. Basically, you can ask me, the DM, something, and I have to answer it immediately, like anything about the world.
Okay.
And you can just stew on that until next session, and until then, I hope everyone has a nice rest of the month, a great weekend, a good nap,
A good
what have you?
sloop.
Good sloop.
A good sloop. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Thank you once again. I hope to see you all once again next time, and I hope that next time will be just as much fun. So, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Adios.